Today, we're going to explore active travel with our partner Backroads. In particular, we're going to talk about domestic itineraries in the Yellowstone Teton National Parks, Bryce, Zion, and Acadia National Parks. I'm joined by our partner at Backroads, Alicia Kelgard. Alicia, thanks for joining us. Why don't we just jump right in? Top of mind for our clients is always Yellowstone and Teton National Park. Can you tell us a little bit about what the traveler can expect when they visit the parks? And maybe talk a little bit about why a trip with Backroads is a little bit different than compared, for example, a self-guided tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you can even see from like this first slide of all the different national parks, the national parks are really, really hot right now. Travel in North America, in the US, is really, people are really interested in it right now. And I think it's primarily because they want to book things that they know aren't going to get maybe postponed or canceled, that they can, count on. And so the national parks offer so much, as far as, Yellowstone goes, for example. First of all, it's beautiful. The scenery is absolutely amazing, and there's a lot to do at the different parks. And when you travel with Backroads, as you know, Juan, it's all inclusive. So we take care of everything. We take care of the meals, the accommodations, the leaders, and everything. It's a full package. And one of the things that is really different for us is that our leaders work for us, and so they are. They're Backroads employees, and so they believe in our mission, and they've been trained by us. So really, they are their only goal really is for you to have an amazing time, and they're very knowledgeable in everything you see. From like the last slide, which is the guys are blowing up the hundreds of gallons of water, to being able to see things like this. And it's funny because I always say, oh my gosh, the pictures are so amazing, and you can't wait to see it. Honestly, I feel like as amazing as these images are, is seeing it in person is just so much more amazing. And one of the great things about Yellowstone too is that it has the water element. So depending on what itinerary you pick, we have whitewater rafting offered there, and we have kayaking that we do there. So it's really pretty spectacular. Also, Yellowstone in the winter, we have a snow adventure, which is really, really fun. It's a great alternative to a ski vacation or something like that. You really see some amazing things, from the bison to the bears. It's just truly spectacular.
I think one of the things, I think to go back a little bit, we've traveled with you, our clients have traveled with you. I think the leaders, for Backroads, they do an amazing job getting to, nooks and crannies that you might not be able to get to by yourself. They're young, they're enthusiastic, they make it fun.
Yeah.
I think one of the things too is, with the Backroads trip, because of these leaders, can you tell us a little bit? I mean, the scenery is stunning. The wildlife is going to be stunning. How, if it's somebody's a first timer, how does it work logistically for a hike, for example, or a bike or a canoe? Are you all together, or, tell me a little bit about how that kind of works out with the leaders.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I get really often is like, how do you accommodate so many different people on these trips? So many different fitness levels and so many different like age ranges and everything else. And to your question, it's really because of the options that we have and the support. The leaders are truly amazing. With every group, you have at least 3 leaders and at least 2 vans. So it really kind of allows you to pick whatever route you want that day. So whether you're hiking or you're biking, in the morning, they kind of give you a what the day is going to look like. And at that point, you decide. You're like, I think today I feel pretty good. I'm going to bike, 15 miles. Or, you know what? I don't really feel it today. I'm only going to hike to the first point, and then I'm going to head back and hang out at the hotel or whatnot. And so the leaders really do facilitate that. And that's the way the trip is designed. And one of the things that I don't think people realize also is that, we take a lot of time to curate these trips and vet them. And the leaders really are the ones that make it seem like you're stumbling across this adventure and by accident, and it's not by accident. And I don't know if you remember when we were Juan and I had the pleasure of hiking in Switzerland together, and we were on this hike, and it was this long hike, and all of a sudden we get to the top and it's so beautiful, and you're looking over, and the leader takes off his backpack, opens it up, and he's got coffee, cognac, chocolate bars, and we're all sitting there having this, like, tea and cognac overlooking this beautiful area. And that's the kind of thing that you can't do by yourself.
Yeah.
That's the magic that Backroads brings, that just gives it that little bit of luxury that we all like.
And I think that's, that brings us to kind of like, that trip was amazing. And I think what's really great about, even Yellowstone, you guys are particularly putting itineraries for even different, for people with different likes, different things that they might want to do differently. And I have the slide up here of the different adventures that you have.
Yeah.
It's not just biking, it's multi-sport with Backroads, and that's what makes you feel really good. One day you bike, one day you kind of hike. Tell us a little bit about how maybe the activity level of each trip, and activity level of each trip, and how somebody might choose the right trip for them. We have the slide here with some of the trips that you have in Yellowstone.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's really great because, working with you and your agents, it's amazing because they're very good at communicating to our salespeople kind of what it is that your guest is looking for, and how active they want it. And one of the things that we do know is, for example, how we give our trips different ratings. For example, levels 1 through 4, and a level 1 is a little bit of an easier trip. A level 4 is a little bit of a harder trip, even though you have choices, within each trip, within each level. You can also still pick kind of one of those levels. And, to your point, Juan, like even on this slide, so as you can see, we offer 6 different types of trips in Yellowstone. So we've got the Yellowstone Teton Multi, we have the snow adventure, we have the walking, and then within that, we even break it down one further. So do you want to go as couples? And then, or is it a family trip? And in your family, do you have kids and teens? Do you have teens, older teens? So that really makes a huge difference too.
And I think, and what's good about you guys also is you're always, innovating. And I know you were excited about this trip, being in the national park. Sometimes, the lodges, they're 3-star, they're clean. But this is a great trip for somebody who's really interested in being active, but also being able to stay in nice luxury places as well.
Absolutely. So as far as the national parks go, you're absolutely right. We stay in the nicest possible places and we dine in the nicest places, but national park accommodations are national park accommodations. Even they're not even if you stay in the nicest places, they're not 5-star. And then but we get a lot of people that really want that. They want that national park experience, yet they want the nice accommodations. So this particular trip, the Yellowstone Tetons Paradise Valley, is really amazing. Great accommodations here. So if you have that, if you're somebody that likes really nice accommodations and wants to see the national parks, I would really recommend this trip or our biking trip in Aspen. Both of those are 2 really great national park type trips that have really nice accommodations.
And then one thing to just kind of back up a little bit, I mean, these are small groups that they put together for all of these trips, but it doesn't mean that you're with the group 24/7. I want to make sure that we kind of
on that. Not at all. Not at all.
Everything is set up, and if you want to travel with a group, you travel with a group. If you're going to travel, if you're faster or you want to be on your own with your family or as a couple, you guys can do the hike and all. And there's going to be support throughout the hike of the day or the biking tour of the day, so that you have that support as you go along with it. So that's what's beautiful about this, is that you have that group feel, but hey, I'm not feeling the group today. I need some private time, and you can kind of go explore on your own as well.
And I feel like you can even do a mix of both, like sometimes, you start off in the morning and you start riding and you're talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden you decide that you're going to stop and take a picture of, elk or something, and those people keep going, and you take, a few minutes, and then now all of a sudden you're on your own. And the nice thing too is that's where the leaders come into play
Yeah.
in this. It's so important because I feel badly sometimes for them. They hike double or they bike double because they go to the people in the front, make sure they're good, and they go all the way back to the people in the back, and then, just to make sure everyone, has what they need at all times.
And I think one of the things for, we're talking about more adults right now, but, for families, what's really, when our clients come back with families, they love the trip because they can have their family time, but sometimes, the kids just want to be with other kids. And
Absolutely.
so they have that social aspect on it. And when we're planning these with our clients, we can ask, hey, we're not going to get names, but we know who's already on the trip. And you can see
Exactly.
the family of with these ages, so you can really try to hone down with somebody who's in the same in the same kind of situation as you.
Yeah, and that's really part of the reason that we created the three different age brackets, is because we really found that families that travel with kids of the same age, it builds a lot more camaraderie. It builds a lot more, and right. You want to spend time as a family, but at the same time, sometimes they want to do things, with other kids. And we do the trips so that they include things that the kids would like. So sometimes we have, depending on what trip you're on, the kids will go off and do something a little different. Like the guides maybe will take them to go get an ice cream, or the guides will take them to go do a zip line, or, so it's really it's very cool.
Yeah. I guess, let's move a little bit forward. We'll talk a
Yeah.
little bit about Bryce and Zion as we talk more about Backroads. But this is, Bryce and Zion, people just come back. The scenery is just, majestic, completely different than Yellowstone. Do you have multiple different types of trips in Zion, or is it more biking, or how are
Nope.
the trips there?
We have multiple trips in Zion, and we offer as many trips as we do in Yellowstone. It's a different type of trip. So in Zion, you don't have those water activities necessarily. We do have the multi adventure, so we do have other things that we do there. But it is beautiful. The rock formations are gorgeous. It's really interesting because when you look at all of our different, when you take a look at all the different national parks, you really do realize why people have all of them on their bucket list, because every single one of them is so incredibly different.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Mhm.
just, people come back. We had a couple people go to travel with you guys back in 2019, and they just loved this itinerary with their family. And I think the best place, and I think what's also good about it is that you can fly into Las Vegas. Is probably the easiest way sometimes to get here.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. It's if you fly into Las Vegas and you can take a shuttle. It's about 2 hours, and the cost is about $30. And
Gotcha.
it takes you into St. George. You can fly into the St. George airport. It's just a little bit more. It's a smaller airport, so your options are a little more limited.
Right. And then what's good is that, listen, Las Vegas is Las Vegas. It's not for everybody, but, you can spend a night there or 2 nights before the trip and kind of have the kids kind of tool around some of those, crazy shows, and then go
Yep,
and experience, Bryce National, which is just, it's fantastic. Um,
absolutely.
and here's, just kind of like a little bit of itinerary that you can do. It looks like it's going to be the multi-adventure.
Yes, exactly.
So I think we're going to move on. I think in the Northeast, I think we're going to be prepared again for a lot of drivable destinations. Acadia is just a completely different, a different being. Do you have multi-sport adventures here as well, or is it more
We do.
biking?
We do. We have all of them there as well. And the multi-sport's nice because you get a little bit of both. You get a little bit of the biking and you get a little bit of the hiking as well. So it really is, and we do offer electric assist bikes.
Oh, that's right.
Not all national parks allow them. Some of them do have restrictions, but for the most part, the electric assist bikes are allowed, and it really makes for a nice trip.
Right. And then
And
so
this is really nice because it 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 starts and ends at the same place. So as far as driving, it's really simple to drive there and leave your car, and then you experience the whole um, you experience the whole trip, and then you can get back into your car. The destinations that are harder to drive to are the ones where they start in one location and then they end in another. So this one, for example, starts and ends in Portland, Maine,
Perfect.
and we've got it set up so that you can leave your car at the Portland airport, and I believe it's something like $14 a day, and then you can pick it up at the end, and we'll pick you up there, and we'll drop you off there.
And that's a great. I mean, Portland for us, on a on a normal day, it's going to take 5.5 hours to get up there.
Yeah,
If we get some 95 traffic, it's going to be a little bit longer. And it's a great. This is this itinerary is great. Your itineraries are typically what, 5 or 6 days.
yeah,
And then on the front or the back end, there's wonderful things that you can do up in this area. You can go into the lake region for a couple days by yourself. Portland's got a great food scene. And there's some wonderful resorts along the water here that we send a lot of people to kind of like end the trip. And I think one of the things that, I don't know, we've traveled with you guys and the clients have traveled with you guys. What's great about your trips is that after the day, you just feel good about yourself. You hiked,
mhm,
5, 7, 8 miles, 2 miles, whatever it might be. You might bike 15, 20, 40 miles. And at the end of the day, you really earned, your wine or your drink. So it's spectacular. It's just such a great idea. And
You
I
know,
know,
it's
yeah,
really interesting because I was talking to someone recently, and they said something that really kind of captured what it is we do. And they said, they've taken like over 15 trips with us, and they said, you you have you have the ability to marry active adventure with luxury and be able to reproduce it on every trip in every
yeah,
continent.
yeah.
And it's exactly that. You have a great day outside, you experience it so differently, you feel really good about yourself because you did something, and then you go back to to a nice hotel, or you go back to a nice dinner, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's good because now you got, one of again, you guys keep innovating, and I think you guys started now some shorter trips, in Vermont in our backyard,
Mhm.
which is just beautiful for, for probably the summer and the fall. There are going to be some good choices as well.
Yeah, so we've like you mentioned, most of our trips are, 5 nights and 6 days, with the exception of our cruises and safaris that are longer. But we saw that a lot of people really wanted weekend getaways. And so we created some weekend getaways, and we have a great one in Vermont. And it's really the weekend getaways are fantastic. They're packed with fun adventures, so it's really great for somebody that wants a good active weekend. And like you were even saying, like, it's a great thing that if you to tack on to something, like maybe you went and visited your kids at college, or maybe you went and visited, some family or something, and it was a little bit of a sleepier vacation, and now you kind of just want to end it or begin it with something a little bit more active, and so it's perfect for that.
And then I think that you guys also, that you started. Here's kind of the highlights of one of the bike tours in Vermont. In Vermont, I'm assuming you guys have multi-adventure as well, or is
We
it all?
do.
Okay,
We
gotcha.
do. We have both. And then this is a nice drivable one too, because it has the same thing. You start and end in Burlington.
Got it.
And so it is really nice. And we you can leave your car at the hotel there, and you can leave it overnight. And so you take the whole trip, and then because we end up in the same place, you can grab your car and drive home.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Hmm.
And I think that the other thing that we mentioned was you had a new trip in regards to, if we have some food, if somebody's really a foodie, you had some new trips also that combine food and adventure as well, if I remember.
Yeah, we do have some culinary trips. We have some in like the Napa Valley and things like that. Um, and we really do make it as luxurious as possible in the region. As far as we do, like I said, our trips are very, very carefully vetted, and we've been running trips in the area for a long time, and we change things up. If all of a sudden there's a hotel that's not meeting up to our standards, or a new hotel pops up and we think it's a better fit, we switch. Same with the restaurants and things like that. So it is really nice. We do, and again, active means a lot of things to a lot of different people. And we, we stop off at the, in Vermont, and buy maple syrup and see how it's made and see things like that. And so, on our Santa Barbara trip, we actually go to an a, an olive orchard, and we see how they make olive oil. And I came home with so much olive oil I can't even tell you. But those are the kind of things that are really fun. We incorporate all that into it. The cultural aspect is really important to us too. So not, you don't see it as much in the national parks, but when you go to places like the Carolinas or whatnot, we really do try to dine in places where you get a really good feel for that local flavor.
And we're hoping, we're hoping that Canada is going to be open. I mean, your Canada trips are just, fantastic. We'll just touch upon him here as we end. And we're hoping, we're hearing rumblings that in May, the borders will be open for tourist travel, crossing our fingers. But I know that, you have trips to Vancouver Island.
Yep. So we have we've always had trips to Banff and to Jasper and things like that. We added 3 new trips this year. So Vancouver Island is one of them. It's really spectacular. The other one is Newfoundland. That's a really a new trip that's really great. And you can see those beautiful glaciers and everything. And then we added a third one, which is the Canadian Rockies, and that one has heli hiking. So that's like, if you really want that adventure of getting on a helicopter and, doing that, it's a super fun trip. And we do have them, and we're offering them for 2021 for the summer. So hopefully those are going to happen.
Well, anyway, Alicia, as always, we appreciate all your time and your partnership. We really love working with you guys. I think one word to say is also, when we work with you guys, people, we make it easier for folks at LA Travel to choose these trips. You never pay any other, what you see online is exactly what you would get with booking
Exactly.
through a travel group. So we just make it easier. And also the pre and post, we really know these trips. So we know how to get in and out and some of the location and some of the hotels that you might want to stay in. So
Absolutely.
anyway,
And that's why we love working with you guys so much, because you are so great at with the pre and post and just really making our trips even that much better, because you guys are so great, so knowledgeable, and so professional. So we appreciate it all the time, and thank you so much.
Awesome, Alicia. Well, thanks again. We will be talking to you soon.
Okay, thanks so much, Juan. Have a great day. Bye-bye.